right, Kayode Okikiolu right now to tell us what's trending.
Oh, yes. And quite a number of things trending. And Nigerians have been reacting to what the Minister of Power said. Call it an apology for implying that Nigerians may just be wasting power as a result of lower tariffs. Remember that the minister got lots of flax.
He definitely was going to get criticism from that, but he's apologized.
So he was essentially just trying to give a reason. So maybe you could just take a listen to what the Minister of Power said on Channels Television yesterday. Just take a listen to his apology, and then we'll take a look at what Nigerians have been saying about other issues. So here's the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, apologizing to you about those comments he made.
It was actually an innocent advice with regard to energy consumption management, which we believe will go a long way in reducing people's energy bills. And that advice was actually directed at those that we believe, because of the recent increase in tariff, you start enjoying 20, 22, 24 hours of power supply. What I said was that the fact that the tariff for Band A, which is for 15% of the total electricity consumers, will increase by over 200% does not necessarily translate into 200% increase in their electricity bills.
So question is apology accepted? Because I usually say that thing, apology accepted or not?
I guess we'll find out on trending. Maybe people have accepted or they say, no, we need another apology.
There you go. Maybe in the form of better power supply. That would be a good apology. But let's take a look at what you're saying across board. First is about the Lagos state government's decision to shut down Lagos Island market due to frequent fires. Yes, it's been one too many. So Governor Sanwo-Olude, you see, he was speaking about that yesterday. But let's see what you are saying about that decision by the Lagos state government. We begin from Mastermind Dynasty. Here's what Mastermind Dynasty has to say on X about the Lagos state government's decision. Taking a look at it, says, well, I admire and respect the governor immensely, but instead of a total shutdown, this user believes that there should be an aggressive and compelling fire safety policy and measures with serious enforcement. And he references the economy is in a positive trajectory, so shutting down might not be the way forward, this user believes.
All right, let's hear from Decking Sports International. It says that losing the market is not the best decision.
Well, closing,
where
that would be.
do you... Oh, closing. I said losing, yeah. Closing the market is not the best decision. Where do you want the sellers to go and start another business? It will definitely increase crime rate.
And I think this next user shares some sentiments. Williams...
Dr. Seth?
Yeah. That name says that the Lagos state government has done well in the area of firefighting equipment, and I think it's important to commend the government, the equipment and manpower. But this user says the problem is the congestion in those market areas. And if you've been to those markets,
there's no space to breathe. I don't know how they do it.
And everyone it's so interesting how everyone moves in a methodical way, but it looks like chaos. You're bumping into each other. People are dragging you to come buy this. It's quite messy. So it says that every shop should have a fire extinguisher and coordinate training with the traders on how to use it. So we need to also educate people on that one.
All right, let's go to the next one coming from Mobolaji in North Bank, Anthony. Wow, that's an interesting name. Prevention is always better than cure. Hard decisions need to be taken when lives are at risk. Life over anything, no sentiment. Prevent the fires and not put mitigating factors. Kudos to the governor and Lagos State for this.
Well, Talk Nigerians, that next user is also in support of the decision. And you see some other people give different angles to it. This person says, I believe it'll help give the right authorities or help them prevent such from happening again. So it says this is the right way to go.
Safety Cabal says that it is better to overhaul the area to prevent further fire and other emergency prevalence in that axis.
There you go. And the final one from IOK 13 says, okay, and after the shutdown, would measures be put in place to prevent future events? Will there be basic safety trainings for market men or women? So I think
That's
the sentiment,
a big question.
yeah, the sentiment is quite big on this one. Well, shut down. Will that solve the problem, really? Will they ensure that people are educated on what to do with fires? Will they ensure that people have fire extinguishers and the rest?
And are there also alternatives for when you shut them down? What do they do? Do they just sit at home? What are the plans for them?
Exactly.
I think the measures need to be taken before some decisions are also taken. Anyway, we go to the coastal road, which we discussed extensively yesterday.
Right here,
and you all have been reacting to that. We expected this reaction. So this one is coming from, anyway, it's that the federal government will charge an average of 3,000 naira per toll gate. That was what Minister David Umahi said yesterday. And this is coming from Shigod, saying that it's an exit route. The road is not for everyone, but for people looking out for alternatives. If you can also afford the toll, otherwise, use the usual roads.
Okay. I've seen in other climes, you know, how you have some highways that are tolled.
Tolled, yes.
Particularly some to the airport. So it's tolled if you want to get there on time.
It's your choice.
Use the highways. But if you want to take your time, you can use the usual routes. Take a look at this next one. It's Leke 0808 saying, everything cannot be free if we want development. However, the government must also ensure adequate compensation to increase users' purchasing power. Okay.
Purchasing power, what are we buying?
You're purchasing. So I imagine you're saying the wages generally. But you know what? Perhaps you send a rejoinder so we'll get the context.
To explain this. Anyway, Behi SNS says that I'm sure the price will be reviewed downwards by the time the road is finished. Economy go don pick up. Hopefully. I like that hope and faith that economy will pick up before 8 years, right? 8 years before that is
That's the target
completed.
that the minister says. By the way, he also adds that the range is meant to be like maybe 1.5 for smaller vehicles and 5,000 for trucks and articulated vehicles. But here's what Tonsimo says. Different angles to this. He says, it'll still be far cheaper than traveling through the Lagos, Ijebu-Ode, Benin, Onitsha, Warri routes. Says, deliver that road and we'll pay to use it. Ends by saying, thanks.
See for thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Sir Francis said it wouldn't be bad to toll the road, but we have to make sure people are not being exploited and the money is not being looted.
And this one, I'm not sure this is sarcasm from Dafo Real Studio. Says, who doesn't love paying extra money just to use a road? It's like a little gift from the government to make your daily commute even more delightful. And the best part is they're making it affordable for everyone by only charging an average of 3,000 naira.
That's a mix of
generosity.
That's a mix of sarcasm and we don't even know what
in its
really
entirety, absolutely, or not. I'm not going to preempt you.
All right.
But there you go. So let's move on to other conversations now. The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, it's there, the cost and the rest, you've been talking about that. But
we'll move to the Dangote refinery. I mean, yesterday we talked about the drop in the retail price of diesel. Can it help bring inflation down? That's a question a lot of people have been asking. And you've also been reacting. That's a proposed
drop, what marketers are calling for, saying that, sell it at 1.2, sell it below that and the rest. So things that can reduce inflation. All
right, so let's hear from Mose Bolaton.
Moshe Bolaton. Apparently.
Moshe Bolaton.
You know, X can confuse you sometimes.
They mix up those names and you're like, what is this? Okay, so at 1,200 to marketers, diesel from the Dangote refinery will be cheaper than what we currently import. And at 500 naira, PMS will be a lot cheaper too. As long as the Dangote refinery accepts payments from marketers in Naira, our currency could appreciate radically next quarter.
There you go. So those are some of the conversations around diesel. You know how diesel is very expensive now. Petrol followed suit, but will this be the game changer? We wait to see. But let's turn our attention to some health matters, right? There's a lot of flu out there, coughing and the rest, particularly for children. You know how children put their hands into germs, put in their mouth, and then infect others, particularly the adults. But this one is about a particular drug that is sometimes used to curb coughing for children. And NAFDAC, that's the Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, has recalled the Benylin syrup. So there's been a lot of comments about that. We start from Classic_Wife says, God saved my son the day I used Benylin Pediatric 5 mils and he weighed 18 kg. It was prescribed though, that's what this user said. I went back to complain the next day after fighting the battle overnight with lots of water. Says this is a first-time mom tweeting.
All right, let's hear from Pascal. It says that at first it was because the expiry date will be this month. Why wait for 3 years before telling us about the batch of medicine? A lot of people have been saying, why recall it now when a lot have already been exposed to people? But anyway.
Better late than never. So that's information for you that could save lives. Let us be watchful out there.
All right. Thank you very much for sending those trends, those stories, those videos, everything you keep sending. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. But we'll take a short break now. We're just starting, so please don't go anywhere.
Stay with us.